Good afternoon, Facebook. Century 21 Beggins page. Jeff Beggins and
Craig Beggins on this end.
All right. So why are we here today? We're going to be having some real, raw, straight talks about what's going on in the market because there's a lot of clutter and confusion about what's going on, and some good, bads, uglies, and realities I think we need to talk about to you, the buying and the selling public. And let's talk specifically a lot about the selling side today. So you've been traveling a lot.
You've got options. Yes, I have.
And I've traveled some with you and you've been traveling elsewhere. Where have you been going, and what have you been learning, and how's that tie into what we're doing today?
Well, it's pretty cool. We Century 21 as a leadership group, we got together for 3 days in Miami Beach and got to hear from industry experts on what's going on and the options. And Century 21's a big organization, and they've got brokers on the street, and some of them are scared with all these changes coming. So we get their opinions on what the changes are,
right, and
understand they're just opinions. And then after that, I came home for about 12 hours, and then I flew to Chicago and went to Zillow Group, invited 100 brokers. They're one of the big brokers from around the country. And they took us to Chicago, paid for airfare, put us in a hotel room. And man, I got a lot of notes on that.
Very cool.
So we are one of the premier brokers in the Zillow system.
So here's what's happened from my perspective. We're just going to banter a couple things back and forth here today. And the biggest push, and you guys are everybody watching, you've got your radio, you got your TV, whatever consumption, whatever you're listening to, you're seeing ads, you're hearing ads. iBuyers, you've got Purple Bricks, you got Redfins, you've got Listed, you've got Open Door, Knock, you've got all these people coming out of the woodwork with different ideas as far as what can they offer to you. And I think the overarching issue here is the commoditization of real estate and as selling your home.
Well, here's one of the stats they got. So real estate sales is 15% of the U.S. gross domestic product. So it's a big amount of money.
Yep.
And
trillions
of dollars. And Wall Street and hedge funds want to get a piece of it.
Yep.
So they're looking at options. This is also one of the largest industries that has yet to be disrupted. Like taxi cabs got disrupted by Uber, and travel agents got disrupted by the internet. And they're saying that real estate can be disrupted. And the ultimate goal, millennials aside, millennials included, people have been conditioned to, when you want it, push a button and you get it. So that's the mindset of the public today. I want to push a button and get what I want.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how to push a button and put a house in your cart. Now, maybe iBuyers is the way to do that. Push a button and they buy your house.
It is a way.
But there's a model that has to work. And right now, what's interesting to me is, just in Tampa Bay, you've got OfferPad and Open Door.
Yep.
And soon, Realogy's entering the picture. We found out from our Century 21 meeting.
Yep.
And as soon as Century 21 announced, we're getting into that iBuying game because some of our sellers want to sell now.
And we're in the iBuyer game, and we'll buy houses too.
And now then Keller Williams followed suit, and they're going to iBuy houses.
Yep.
So you're going to have options, but I think everybody has to realize you're not buying a house at market value and selling it at above market value right away.
Right. And that's one of the things we want to talk about. And there's times and places for everything. And we're going to tell you when we think the iBuyer route is good for you.
Yeah.
And when it might not be good for you. So
that's what I trained the salespeople this morning. I said, guys, go into the living room table and say, this is an option. If you want this option, let's explore it together. We get a little something if we take you through the system. It doesn't cost you anything for us to submit your house.
Here's what pisses me off about the whole situation right now. And I think what it is people preying on marketing messages that are not right. And this is one of the things that I want to call out right now because it does piss me off. It really does. I'm very passionate about taking care of people and having people's back and doing the right thing.
Let me address that just to add to your point. So Purple Bricks hit Orange County, California.
Yep.
They came out they advertised $12.4 million worth of ad spend in the first quarter they opened.
Yep.
I mean, you got to have some pretty big pockets to spend $12.5 million to open
in one county.
In one county, and their gaffe is they're going to charge a $3,600
yep.
listing commission. Well, in our market, that's a full price commission. In Orange County, that's a major discount.
That's right.
But how much money could they make on $3,400 commissions to afford a $12 million budget?
It's not so that's the interesting thing. It's not a play about profit or making sense. It's a play for a market share. And who's getting the shaft in this type of situation is the general public, which is why we're talking about what we're doing today. Because here's the thing. I listen to it. I see it. We do all our research. It always says, click here. We'll give you a fair, reasonable offer. Right. So
that was fair and reasonable.
Let's cut through the marketing clutter BS of what fair and reasonable means. Fair and reasonable.
To who?
What fair and reasonable means.
We're going to buy it. We're going to flip it. And we're going to make a profit.
That's right. So you're gonna take it in the by taking advantage of these, because fair, reasonable offer that. So you hear us talk a lot about having your back end, what agency is, and how do you actually get represented. Now, all of these different end users, there is no way that they're able to represent a client because they're the buyer. So if I'm going to go buy your house right now and I'll give you an offer right now on your house, we will. If you want to sell your house right now, we will give you an offer right now. I promise you, if you want us to close right away and take the market risk on doing so, it's going to be a wholesale offer. It's not going to be retail, and it's not going to be top of market what we can get with full marketing behind it. So I think that's fair if you know the deal. What I don't like is the people saying, hey, fair, reasonable offer, here's the algorithm, we'll give you this.
Well,
and then they charge a commission. They don't even charge it a commission.
Well, it's like a for sale by owner on your street.
Yep.
The guy put his for sale on. A savvy investor came and bought that house for what, $300,000 less than it was worth?
Yep. But they didn't pay the commissions.
They saved a commission, but they lost $300,000. Fair and reasonable it was. The guy probably bought it for $150 20 years ago, so he doubled his money.
Fair
but
and reasonable.
Had he had an agent representing him, they would say, dude, this is a $600,000 house, not a $300,000 house.
Because when you're going for scale and you're letting an algorithm control your pricing, it's all just a numbers game. You're going for scale. You can't take the time to price it. So one of the things I was talking about with the group here this morning in Tampa is, let's talk about pricing as a function, right? There's so many intricate details. It's the largest asset class that you probably own, right? One of the largest homes that you've ever have, one of the largest financial assets, and you know how different the value actually is, especially in our markets. There's difference in how was the home built, what construction materials, is it north, south, east, western exposure, is it on the water, what type of a seawall, what kind of exposure, what kind of schools, what kind of CDDs, what kind of taxes, what's your competition, which homes sold recently that haven't closed yet are going to rebase the appraisal situation next week when they record their sale, right? What are you going to do to actually market and prepare, and where is your biggest competitor? What's the appraiser going to do, and what are the ones that expire they're going to make sure it doesn't sell?
Well, just push a button.
Right.
And sell your house right now.
So, and
you've got to hedge that risk.
And we were chatting a little bit before this, though. It's time or money, right? You can't have both, right? We do all the time. If you want to go sell your CarMax, right? Bring your car in. We'll give you a check right now. Right. They will, but I promise you, it's not going to be the top dollar you could get if you were to take the market risk and time to promote it on all the different ad channels out there to try to find that one person who falls in love with your car.
And that's okay.
Yes.
Some people, this is a good deal for.
There's a time and a place.
That's right.
If Aunt Susie passed on and left you a house in Arizona, and you have no interest in ever dealing with that house in Arizona, what do you want? Get me out of this damn house, cash, liquidate it, and be done with it. Push a button, I'll take the hit, let me go, because it's about time, it's not about money, right? But if you're retiring and you have a little bit of extra time and you don't really care, or you're trying to maximize for your next home.
Well, even in Aunt Susie's house, if that was the case, I'd still want to know, how much am I leaving on the table? Yep. And I think that's what the value I want to bring is, call your real estate agent, call Open Door Tour, let us call them for you. But call your real estate agent and know the facts. That's all we want you to do. We don't want you to fall into a marketing gap and say, I did a great thing and I saved commission if you left money on the table. Now, we were talking just before the show that, a lot of people that are selling their homes are selling it so they can buy another one.
Yep.
And in this short inventory market, guys, I want to say it's 33% of all contracts now have multiple offers. Like, we missed out on one and we missed the first house we wanted. We had to sharpen our pencil on the second house. Yep. So there's people like that I want to sell this house and buy this one. But if I don't have my house under contract, I'm not going to be considered as a real buyer. So I'm not saying these are bad ideas. They're not. But I'm saying you need a professional to help you look at it.
Right.
To know what the difference is. Because we've got other ways.
And if you look at, let's call it wholesale versus retail, or retail light versus retail, wherever you want to look at it. there is a price at which you could sell it for quickly. I mean, our strategic pricing analysis that we do says at the very end of the deal says, here you go. Right here, this is the fast price. We can get it sold probably an offer this weekend. Or here is a higher price, but it might take us the normal days on the market, which in this price point might be 120 days. Right. So if you're willing to, if you really want to squeeze an extra 15 grand out, we'll do that. But it's going to take us market time to get market price, or lower than market time means lower than market price.
I would imagine our fast price is higher than most iBuyers.
It may or may not be. What my point is you need somebody to truly have your back, whether it's us or not. I'm talking about industry wide. But if they don't have an agency relationship with you, then it's impossible for them to legally have your back. And I still think 95% of the general public, buying and selling public, do not know the difference in representation options that they have out there because it hasn't been pushed.
I think to call this out, this actually goes multi-state now, these broadcasts.
Yep.
So in Florida, we have something called transaction broker. We're deemed to be a neutral third-party broker, meaning we can't put one party's interest to the detriment of another. So every real estate agent upon first meeting a customer is declared a transaction broker. You cannot put one party's interest to the detriment of another.
Right.
So Jeff's a buyer's agent, I'm the listing agent. Jeff and I are working to put the transaction together. The house is 500 grand. Jeff says, here's a 480 offer. Hey, Greg, don't let this one go. My buyers will come up. I can't go tell my seller what I know because I'd be putting his client at a disadvantage.
Taking money out of my client's pocket to put it in
mine. It's in my seller's pocket. So I can't do that. So when I go to my seller and say, hey, seller, if I find this out, would you like me to tell you? What's he going to say?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Same things. That's creating a fiduciary responsibility. It's that of a client, an attorney-client type of thing. And so that's what we want to do. We want to have your back and advise you on what's right.
And it might
what's
be
best for you. And it might be that.
In your situation, a quick right now offer is right here and it's good to go. And I think let's liken it to the attorney situation. Let's say I needed an attorney for something. Right?
So you're getting a divorce and you just want to be done.
And the attorney walks in and says,
give my ex-wife everything. I want to be out of here.
But let's look at that. Then you can open up the newspaper today and you'll see divorce for $200, divorce for $149, divorce for $99, right? And so is that an option?
That's awful bad.
Right? Or you have somebody that will be the kick-ass bulldog to represent your best interest. But let's go further. Let's say we're going to go through a divorce, and an attorney walks in and says, "Hey, how you doing? I'm attorney Bob. I'm going to take care of you. And oh, this is your soon-to-be ex-wife. Nice to meet you. I'm going to represent both of you in this whole transaction here today. So what I'm going to do is work something out that kind of makes sense. I'm not going to work for you, and I'm not going to work for you. We're just going to kind of work together and end the deal."
And that works too. There's a lot of amicable divorces.
And
I'm not saying transaction broker is wrong. I'm just saying there's a higher opportunity out there that most brokers aren't willing to give you.
And I'm saying in the clouded business environment that it is right now, I think somebody having your back, call it what you want, is the most important thing, to lay out all of your options on the table and look at the pros and cons. This is faster, this is lower, this one's higher, this is low, this is quicker, this is serious, this is it. And then how are you going to structure these transactions? Because the time is right now. The inventory as we sit here today and Q4 2018, it is in the markets that we're serving right now, it is still a seller's market.
I just looked up, we have 6,400 properties on the market in Hillsborough County and 6,900 properties on the market in Pinellas County. And I remember when we had 15,000 homes on the market.
Oh yeah.
If it's at the same time.
And the stats you were showing me on the beaches yesterday, we had certain number new homes on the inventory, and then we had way more than that sold in a month. So you've got a depleting inventory. Market's tight is my point. So do not leave a penny on the table, and look at all of your options and let us help you figure out what option is absolutely best for you. Quick or more, wholesale or retail, everything works the same way. And then these different models, if you will, there's nothing new about being a discounter, right? No. That's been along for a long time. You could package, you could be whatever color brick you want to be. You're still a discount.
I just showed you a
non-representation service
company. Sent me a picture of this guy's on his truck. I'll list your house for 1%, and I'll give you my commission on the new homes sale.
That's right.
No, that's not new. He doesn't have $170 million worth of money.
No, he had $14 for the car magnet on his door. Right. But it's the same type of a message of, so I don't care what business or industry you're in, if you can't compete on value, right,
you shouldn't be competing.
You have to compete on price. Right. And so I remember it was funny when I was doing school and in my master's and things, we talked about, call it the greater whore theory, right? And that's the politically correct statement, of course, that we're known for around here. But it's the race to the bottom, because once something becomes a commodity, if I know I can produce this pen for 20 cents and I'm trying to sell it for $1 and you can buy it for 20 cents, you're fine selling it for 80 cents, right? And then I might say, well, shit, he's selling it for 80, there's still plenty of margin, I'll sell it for 75. You'll say, shit, I'll do it 70, I'll still margin.
You're selling more than me, I'll drop it to 60.
Then somebody says, hey, there's still a double my money, I'll do it at 40.
But then somebody comes out and invents a better pen and they sell it for $2.
Right.
Because it's a better pen. So you provide value and then you get things. So we want to make sure we're providing value.
And this is not a commodity, and anybody who pretends that it is really underselling the reality of it. Now,
You think about the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, the title company, the mortgage company, the home inspector, the expert engineer that's got to check out the mold issue that we discovered during the inspection period. All that stuff we're not commodity because of that. I mean, it goes deeper and deeper.
And digging into the insurance and the loan operations, all the things that come along with it are pretty cool. So I think the bottom line here is it's not a commodity. Don't let anybody treat it like one, and call a trusted professional that truly has your back.
And if you want to see some results, go to our website, c21beggins.com, and click on our agents. And every agent has a view my testimonial section. It's amazing. I'm very proud when you see that our agents have testimonials and what people say about how we defended them and how we took care of their transaction. You don't have to ask us. Go see that for yourself.
It's about having their back.
Yeah.
And that's what for 26 years, 55,000 transactions, 12 or 13 billion in sales. It's the underlying message is we have your back, and we always will, no matter what the market does. But take a look at it, get the guidance, get the guidance, man. That's really what it's about.
So we want you to know you have options. We're not attached to which option you take. We just want you to know what your options are. If the lower option is better for you, then by all means, it's your best interest, do it. And we'll be happy for you.
Yep.
But we want you to know. So I'm just afraid that a lot of people are going to see the ads, see all the stuff and go, oh, this is my end all solution.
Right.
And it may be, but take advantage of our assistance. We don't charge anything unless we're successful.
That's right. And pretty much we're doing and matching whatever people are doing too,
Exactly.
with having your back at the problem. So that's a short, sweet, to the point message. We have your back. Love you guys. Thank you for all just giving us the opportunity to serve you over the years. And we appreciate every second of it.
Yes, we do.
Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. Reach out anytime we can help you guys. Thanks again.